Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall Catch-Up Show for Wednesday the 31st of May, Thursday the 1st of June and Friday the 2nd of June. And what can you say? Well, just as you think it's going to be a quiet couple of weeks, we have some news from Scotland coming out on Wednesday. Millwall have gone back in for Kevin Nisbet, made another bid. I think it's the same bid that we made before, just made it again. So we can start talking to the player again, apparently, because they've accepted the fee. So this came out first, I think, from the Daily Record. Kevin Nisbet Hibs transfer fee agreed with Millwall as Lions close in on a deal for the striker. The front man was on the verge of a move to the Lions in the last transfer window, but performed a U-turn at the 11th hour. So this came out, and then something else came out, which I'll bring you in a minute, but we'll get through this first. Millwall made the first move in the fight for Scotland international Kevin Nisbet. The Lions have agreed a 7-figure deal with Hibs. They've been given permission to reopen talks with their on striker. The 26-year-old is currently away on holiday ahead of the Scotland squad meeting up next week and won't be rushed into a decision on his future. Yes. So who are we talking to anyone? Who are we talking to? Are we talking to his agent? I don't know. Maybe we're not. But it'll be weird to get the deal done now. Now, what is actually happening this summer? So we got this from SkySports.com. Summer transfer window. When does it open? Well, the summer transfer window doesn't even open until the 14th. But not only that. So the summer transfer window opens on Wednesday, June the 14th. Will close at 11 PM on Friday, September the 1st. And yeah, but the summer transfer window opens on Wednesday, June the 14th for all clubs in England and Scotland. Despite the domestic window opening on June the 14th, clubs will not be able to sign players based overseas until the international window opens on Saturday, July the 1st. Does that mean Scotland as well? So we might not even be able to sign Kevin Nisbet till July the 1st. Because if he needs international clearance, even though it's England and Scotland, there's still different different football associations. You need to transfer the registration over. If that's the case, then you can't even get the deal done July the 1st. So if we could have it all signed, sealed, but not delivered, and someone could come in and hijack it on June the 30th. So maybe we've shot our load a bit too early. When does the window close? The summer transfer window will close in England at 11 PM on Friday, September 1st. Europe's top 5 leagues will also close their transfer window on the same date. Okay. So there you go. Is it June the 14th or is it July the 1st? Don't know. But I'm sure we're going to find out. So yeah. Like he says, he won't be rushed in the decision on his future. He's got until either June 14th or July the 1st. Championship rivals Blackburn Rovers and Bristol City are also interested, and the front man is likely to wait to see what materialises. Record Sport wrote the story in January that Millwall had tabled a £1 million plus bid. They eventually got to a level where a fee was agreed, but the move collapsed with the player pulling out of the deal. Nisbet had just come back from major surgery at that point. The former Dunfermline striker has since scored an impressive 12 goals in 20 games after missing the first half of the season. His form has seen him recalled by national boss Steve Clarke for the upcoming Euro 2024 qualifiers against Norway and Georgia. He will join Clarke's squad for their upcoming Spanish training camp. So there you go. Now, so like I said, this came out. This was, I think, one of the first ones up. But almost immediately, we got the man who has the inside scoop at Millwall from LondonNewsOnline.co.uk, Richard Cawley, the South London Press's online website, put this up. Now, I don't know if it was a response to that or whether he was. It was literally like 10 minutes, so he might have been typing it up and had it ready to go. Because there were a few rumours, but there was no daily record of saying actually bid made, bid accepted, the deal's ready to be done. So we've got this here. Mill have retained strong interest in Hibernian striker Kevin Nisbet. The summer transfer is not imminent. So why put this out? Why say? Well, let's have a read of it and then see what the point of this being put out is. If it was put out on behalf of Millwall, shall we say. Mill have retained their strong interest in Kevin Nisbet, but deal for the Hibernian striker is not imminent at this stage of the transfer window. The Lions had lined up a January switch for the Scotland international, only for the switch to break down. But the Championship side are still big admirers of the 26-year-old Glaswegian as they look to boost their firepower for next season. Nisbet ended a 2-year absence from the Scottish squad when he was selected for next month's Euro 2024 qualifiers. Steve Clarke's side will face Norway on June 17th before hosting Georgia on June 20th. Nisbet's chances of an international recall were boosted by Southampton's Che Adams missing out due to injury. So what's this? Who's disappointing for Che, but a chance for Kevin Nisbet to come back into the squad, said Clarke. Kevin's a goal scorer, and we know the qualities he brings us. A cruciate knee injury prevented Nisbet from featuring for Hibs until the middle of December, but he finished with 12 goals in 20 appearances. He scored in the final 2 fixtures of the campaign, a 4-2 win over Celtic, that was a penalty, and a 1-1 draw with bitter rivals Hearts. Nisbet had recently conceded that the Celtic match could be his final home game as a Hibs player. My agent and the club are in a good dialogue with each other, and I said I kind of want to stay out of it, he told the Scottish media. I just want to focus on finishing the season well. I've been there before where January moves have fallen through, and I think I'd deal with it previously as well as I did this time. I wanted to come back and enjoy my football, and I have. Asked about his performances since returning from his knee injury, Nisbet said, I'd probably come back a better player as well. I knew in my head I would, but there are a lot of doubters, so it's good to silence the doubters a bit as well. It was a long, very lonely 9 months out, but I put in a lot of hard work, and I think people could see in my performances how hard I actually worked. So, what is that? It's just a roundup of the stuff that's happened, of various other interviews that he's given. So, obviously, he gave an interview to the Edinburgh Evening News before the Celtic game and said, this might be my last game. I'm talking to the club, I might be leaving. Talking about coming back from an injury and all that. So that's those quotes are from that interview. But in terms of actual new stuff, so it's just the first 2 lines. Mill have retained their strong interest in Kevin Nisbet, but a deal for the Hibernian striker is not imminent at the stage of transfer. Okay. Okay. But we've got it coming from Scotland that bids Millwall making bids and bids are being accepted. So that's a pretty strong interest there. But he's saying they've retained their strong interest, but the deal's not imminent. So yeah, like it's literally they're throwing their hat in the ring again, and then it's up to the other clubs to match Mill's bid, and then the player will have to decide, and we have to wait and see. So a lot of players, I think Zion Fleming was one, have said what they liked about Millwall is that they came in, tried to do a deal, it didn't work, and then they come back and say, look, we really want to sign you, so we're going to come back again and try and sign you. A lot of players like that because I don't know, maybe it feels a bit more personal, like they actually give a shit, not that they're just just fly by night. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we've got this amount of money to spend. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yeah, you'll do. Let's come play for us. That kind of thing. Whereas if you're trying to sign a geezer, it doesn't work, and then you come back, which that's what happens with Zion Fleming. He said when they came back, he was like, oh, they come back, and not only that, but it's the same people as well, it's the same manager, the same background people, because you've spoken to them before, so you know them. So there isn't that kind of first impressions. Like you might not know them, but you've met them before. So there is that. So that advantageous for us? Like I said, Zion Fleming and others have said that was important for them when choosing to come to Millwall. Obviously, Nisbet's deal broke down with Millwall because they wanted they found something in the medical, wanted to do a few more tests, and asked him to come back the next day. And he decided, fuck that, I'm going back to Glasgow. So there you go. That he might have soured on it already, but we'll see. Yeah, we will see. But if we're the only one putting the money up, is he going to come, or would he just stay there and try and get them to force a move? So then a Hibernian will literally just take a lower price. If Kevin Nisbet says, "Oh, I don't want to go to the war," and then Hibernian say, "Well, they bid the most," and he says, "Well, I don't give a shit. I'm not going." And then now I have to accept a lower bid from another team that he actually does want to go to. So, but like I said, nothing's happening right now. We've got this from EdinburghLive.co.uk. So someone has revealed the fee. Now, why would they do that? Yeah. So, like I said, this can't be done until at least the 14th. It may be the 1st of July if we need international clearance between federations. So, the Hibs 7-figure Kevin Nisbet Millwall agreed fee revealed as transfer chase hots up. The Lions previously made a move for the Scot back in January before his Easter Road exit collapsed. The newly agreed figure set to be less than what was put forward in the winter. So here we go. So Millwall have gone in cheekily with a lower bid, and remarkably it's been accepted as well. So Millwall have agreed to a 7-figure deal for Hibs star striker Kevin Nisbet as the English Championship side stepped up their pursuit. Several other clubs would yet make late moves to the Scotland International, as a report in the Scottish Sun states the forward could be set to leave Easter Road for 1.2 million. Nisbet previously turned down a move for 2.2 million in January after holding talks to the Lions. 25-year-old having described the sum as life-changing money. Second-tier outfit's second move could rise to 1.5 million, but their Championship rivals Blackburn Rovers and Bristol City remain keen. Over Turkish side Galatasaray also having watched the hitman in action. Yeah, so when we went in for him before, it was a 2.3 million package, as in if we get promoted, then it's this much money. There's a basic transfer fee. If we get promoted, then there's an extra. If he plays a certain amount of games, it's extra. If he scores a certain amount of goals, it's extra. That, you know what I mean? So it's a 2.3 package. So it looks like we've gone down to 1.5. So obviously he's in the last year of his contract. So we want him now. We want him in July to come pre-season to play for us in August in the EFL Championship. So there you go. Last week, Nisbet stressed it was the timing of the deal and not Hibs that led to him saying no in the winter as he continued his recovery from an ACL injury. That has encouraged the Lions, who narrowly missed out on promotion playoffs, to try again this summer. So it sounds like he's saying, so last week Nisbet stressed it was the timing of the deal, not Hibbs, that led him to say no. So maybe he didn't want to change clubs in the middle of the season, but again, why would you come down and do it anyway? I guess if you've got a lot of shit going on in the background, family stuff, and that's going like, what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna live? What kids are in school, and all that stuff. So I guess maybe it's easier to do that in the summer. But again, like he's going to Spain for a Scotland training camp, and then he's got 2 games next week as well, which they say here. He still has a year left to run on his Easter Road contract. The move looking firmly on the cards as he reflected on his previous rejection of the move. Nisbet said last week, sometimes you just get a feeling that it isn't the right time to go. It was more about me, not anything to do with Millwall or Hibs or anything. Okay. Mill understood. Maybe it was too soon after my ACL, you just want to get settled. It's life-changing money, but I think I made the right decision. I've scored goals and I put myself in the shop window for the national team. Fair enough then, fair enough. So it seems he doesn't have any problem with Millwall, he just didn't want to do it at that time. Yes. But there you go. So apparently we're getting a cut price deal. So it was 2.2 in January, and 6 months later, 1.5. So bit of a bargain for Millwall if it goes through. So yeah, there you go. That's all that's happened so far. Now, but why would they reveal the fee? Obviously, it is a long way to go. Hibs will probably want to get as much money as they can get, and Kevin Nisbet probably wants to get as many options as he can get. At the moment, the teams that have been linked with him: Galatasaray, Blackburn Rovers, Bristol City, and Millwall. So probably wants a few more in for him, and we'll maybe someone closer to home, Sunderland, Middlesbrough. That's close to Scotland. I don't know, maybe. But we'll see. I don't know. Moving on to this from SouthwarkNews.co.uk. Analysts, what Mill will need to do to bridge the gap to Championship's top 6. The Lions will add to their squad this summer and have a quality academy squad. Millwall controlled their own destiny in the race to finishing as Championship top 6 from the 37th game of the season to the 43rd, and given arguably the most favourable running of the playoff contenders, no Lions supporter could have been called deluded for thinking about postponing whatever plans they had made in that, and instead make contingency ones the 2 semi-final dates. After Garrow outside won 2-1 against Swansea City on March 14th to go 6th, the remaining fixtures were Huddersfield Town, West Bromwich Albion, Luton Town, Hull City, Preston, Birmingham City, Wigan Athletic, Blackpool, and Blackburn Rovers. Yet the Lions won only 2 of their last 9 games, dropping out of the playoff places not just on the last day but in the second half of their last game, as they lost 4-3 to Blackburn. It meant Mill narrowly missed out on the top 6 for a 4th consecutive season under Rowett. For a club of Mill's relative size, particularly compared to the ones that drop out of the Premier League with bags of money for parachute payments, those are good achievements. But Rowett and the club want more. More? A drastic overhaul would obviously have been required to have Millwall won promotion to Premier League for the first time, but is one now needed? And if so, what would it look like? We discussed what we think should be next if Millwall want to break into the top 6. Be bold in the transfer market. Millwall broke their transfer record last summer when they paid £1.7 million to Fortuna Sittard for Zion. Fleming, the Dutch attacker, was an unqualified success in his first season in English football, scoring 15 goals. Recruitment is always trickier for Millwall than most of the clubs they are competing with in the top half of the table due to budget differences. Can the Lions discover at least a couple of gems somewhere at budget prices? Well, hang on a minute there. We spent big money in the past and it has not worked out. Paul Goddard, anyone? Bob Peters? Barry Powell? Now you think that 1.7 million, that broke our record, was a lot more. And there is kind of a level where you pay a lot of money. It's a lot of money for Millwall, but it's not a lot of money overall. And you don't really get a superstar player. You just get your bog standard kind of player. It's not really what you want. But again, having to step up and pay more money for the next level, it's not easy, is it? It can be done. Look at one of the Lions' top 6 rivals in 22-23. Coventry City have reached the playoff final despite all the turmoil around them in recent years, including not having their own ground to play at. Their recruitment has been creative. Victor Gutierrez, Gustavo Hammer, and Jamie Allen were hardly household names when they joined from Brighton, FC Zwolle, and Burton Albion, respectively, but they've combined for 36 championship goals between them this season. Hamer and Allen's contributions from midfield was 15 goals. Those numbers are particularly pertinent when you compare them to Millwall's. In the next line behind Tom Bradshaw and Fleming, including in the wing-back system earlier in the season, no player had scored more than 1 goal before the final day. That put huge pressure on Bradshaw and Fleming to keep on scoring. That Bradshaw was the only out-and-out striker at the club after January following Benekovi's departure only adds to the sense of a missed opportunity. Kevin Nisbet's proposed move from Hibernian collapsed on January 27th. There was little time to go for an alternative, as they were only left to wonder 5 or 6 more goals than the side could have made a difference. Well, what happened? Because Kevin Nisbet deal collapsed, we went back in for Oliver Burke, and then we went in for Duncan Watmore. So fullbacks. Mill had no goal contributions from their fullbacks this season. The Lions will surely be assessing that this summer. So goal contribution, I think that means either goals or assists, I believe. No one can doubt the qualities that Danny McNamara brings to the team. This report was in the Dockers stand for the 2-0 win over Preston in April. It was at a time when McNamara was shipping a little bit of criticism from fans for perceived below par performances. There were a couple of moments when a McNamara tackle raised the noise levels on a strangely subdued afternoon. That's what McNamara does, that fearlessness in putting his body on the line, creating that connection to the stands. When McNamara was brought back from St Johnstone in January 2021, Millwall had 2 out-and-out right-backs competing for the spot. McNamara won over Marlon Romeo this season. McNamara hasn't had that competition, with the addition of an attacking right-back lead to McNamara improving his game again. McNamara went from National League to an established Championship player in 2 years, so there is no doubt in his capacity for improvement. He and Mill will need that competition next season. And it's the same on the other side of the defence in a back four. Neither Murray Wallace nor Scott Malone hit the heights of previous seasons from the point of view of a goal threat. Mill could be prioritising the fullback positions this summer. Well, we did have right wing back. That was Jamie Shackleton. Again, for some reason, he thinks he's a centre midfielder, even though he's really quick, and would be great bombing down the wing, but there you go. Breaking down defences. This is linked to all of the above. In 22-23, the Lions beat Sheffield United, Middlesbrough, West Bromwich Albion and Watford twice. Yet at home, failed to beat Reading, Queen's Park Rangers, Hull City, Wigan Athletic, Bristol City, Huddersfield Town and Birmingham City, all of whom finished in the bottom half of the table. That's a big expected haul of points dropped. Mill didn't have enough creative players to break down deep defences. The Lions' attackers are suited to breaking into space on the transition. If defences are packed They want Mill to go wide and cross because they're set to deal with that. In that scenario, Mill didn't have a 6 foot plus target man to call on either. It all added up to several frustrating afternoons and evenings at Den. Another top 6 rival, Sunderland, also operating on a modest budget. Are you serious? They spent 10 million on Jack Clark. That's modest for you, my friend. Had Amad Diallo and Jack Clark in the wide attacking areas in their system. Not only are they adept at creating in tight spaces, but they scored 13 and 9 league goals respectively across 46 game campaign last season. The Black Cats had a variety of attacking midfield options, including playmaker Alex Pritchard, another wide player Patrick Roberts. There was a gap in between what some rivals produced from that line behind the attack and what Millwall did. The wide players recruited Andres Vogelsang, Oliver Burke and Duncan Watmore didn't offer anything like the same goal scoring threat. Mill need to try bringing in players in those areas with a knack for scoring goals. Well, we have some players who are dangerous, but here's the thing: they're not perfect, are they? They're not fully rounded. I'm talking about Tyler Burry and Romain Esse. Tyler Burry, in fits and starts, isn't unplayable. He's run straight down people's throats. He's very direct. He doesn't really have an eye for a pass because he just wants to shoot, which is fair enough. But when you've done all that running, let me just get the shot away. But maybe you need to just set other people up every now and then. But again, like if he was a perfect player, he wouldn't be playing for it, would he? So. Yeah. Academy. Play the youngsters. You hear it every season, read it on the forums. It's understandable for teams with nothing to play for. Late on in the season, Billy Mitchell was given his senior competitive debut on the last day of 2018-19 after the threat of relegation had been seen off in previous games. But generally, players will make themselves unignorable as Zach Lovelace and then Romain Esse did in the past 2 seasons. Mill's Academy has produced impressive results in recent seasons, especially as there is so much competition on the fabled South London football scene. Unfortunately, the downside is getting picked off by bigger clubs. Lions fans never got to see Darko Giabi or Samuel Edozie play for their team, although that upside was they generated over $3 million in compensation when they joined Manchester City. The Mill again benefited financially from sell-on clauses when they moved to Leeds United and Southampton respectively. The real frustration was when Lovelace left for Glasgow Rangers for a pittance. But the evidence is there of hard work paying off in first finding these players and then successfully developing them. They are national champions this season. Esse has shown serious promise, and perhaps he will look at Lovelace's experience this season. 1 senior appearances totaling 2 minutes after making 4 for Mill in the previous campaign, and he became the second youngest ever player and stayed put if and when there is interest in him. The hope is that Esse will push on and be joined by 1 or 2 more next season. Young players who have come through the system and into the first team always excite fans, creates a buzz and hope for the future. We've all been there before in each of the last 4 summers, in fact, and as ever, the next transfer window will shape the season ahead as the Lions finally hope to break into those playoff positions. Yes, indeed. So a lot to think about there. Moving on to this from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Inspirational Millwall boss Rowett on Luton realising Premier League ambition. Millwall manager Gary Rowett says the Luton Town's promotion to the Premier League can only act as inspiration. Rowett has previously talked about the similarities between the two sides, especially in terms of their physical attributes and set piece prowess. The Lions missed out on the Championship playoffs after a 4-3 defeat on the final day at home to Blackburn. Luton went on to beat Coventry City on penalties last weekend to clinch a top 5 place. Firstly, it's an incredible achievement by them, Rowett told the South London Press. I was travelling at the time, so I was able to watch the first half in the airport. Then I was heading over to see a few teams in Holland. I missed the second half and managed to catch what was going on with the penalties online. That was about it. Rob Edwards going in there as manager was always going to be hard to maintain what previously been done by Nathan Jones. But actually, I think he's moved it forwards and certainly progressed in his own way. They're a side that used a disappointing of the season before, not quite managing to get there. And they look like a team that really believed that they could do it, and they worked incredibly hard to do it. Hats off to them. It's going to be brilliant to watch him in the Premier League. Is it? Is it really? Well, I don't know. It has to serve as an inspiration to any team like that, like ourselves. They feel there's an opportunity there. If you look back, we were very, very close, and that is what can happen if you can take the next step and get in amongst those 4 teams. Anything can happen. People would have fancied Middlesbrough and Sunderland in terms of technicality, but I thought of the games I saw, Luton physically, blue teams away, they couldn't cope with it. It's a massive achievement. Indeed. So there you go. Now, here we go. More from Rowett. This is from somethingnews.co.uk. Recruiting for a back 4 or 5 this summer. Millwall manager gives insight into thinking. Gary Rowett switched to a 4-man defence early last season. Gary Rowett has given any insight into his thinking? What? Hasn't or has? Hasn't? Gary Rowett has given any insight into his thinking on one of the big questions this summer, whether Millwall's recruitment will be a 4 or 5-man defence in mind. What a sentence. Rowett's formation for much of his time in charge of the Lions has been 5 in defence, with variations in front of that including 2 attackers, or 3 attackers, or 3 in midfield. Millwall recruited last summer with a view to a default 5-man formation with wing-backs, Callum Stiles and Jamie Shackleton, both of whom also midfield, spent time in the wing-back roles last season. Natural wing-back Scott Malone is leaving this summer. In Rowett's previous preferred formation 5-2-3, Mason Bennett was often deployed on the left side of the attack. Bennett will also leave when his contract expires this month. The Lions are currently lacking an out-and-out left back. Murray Wallace has played there, but his position is centre back. At the other end of the pitch, Millwall have a shortage of natural wingers. Last season, Zion Fleming, Duncan Watmore and Andres Vogelsang played wide, but in a narrower setup. Millwall arguably haven't replaced Jed Wallace, who could play through the middle, was often deployed on the right wing to stretch defences and get crosses in. Millwall are working on a list of targets. The Lions need to strengthen in a number of areas. And Rowett would like players who are versatile to fit different formations. I think it's a mix, really, Rowett told the paper when asked which formation the club will be recruiting for. You saw towards the end of last season when we played a 5, I put Blackpool, and I probably would have done that on the last day had I had the options. It's a blend. You've got to head in the season thinking we're a team that probably likes being flexible. I think it's interesting to see that out of the top 2 teams in our division, Sheffield United played a 5 all season. The 2 teams in the playoff final, they play a 5. I don't think it's necessarily always the formation. It's within that. Having a little bit of luck with key injuries is crucial for any of those formations. We'll always be flexible. I like playing a 5. I like playing an attacking version of it. That's always something that we have to think about so we can have both options. Okay. Just because Sheffield United did it, okay. Coventry did it, Luton did it. That doesn't translate to us. Like, they've got different players. It's not the same players. You really need to look at the players you've got, and that's what they're saying here. You're recruiting. Is it a back 4 or back 5? Like, you can't be having square pegs in round holes. They just won't fit. So here we go, more from Rowett now. They understand what the club is about. Millwall boss impressive attitude of youngsters, but has a warning. So this is from southernnews.co.uk as well. The Lions' professional development squad is packed with talents. Gary Rowett is buoyed by the mentality of Millwall's young players, but warned that's only part of what's needed to become a first-team regular. After the Lions under-21s won the Professional Development League national title last week, several of his squad, including Romain Esse and Adamu and Maku, who have made senior appearances, spoke about the never say die attitude of the side. Kevin Nugent's team needed extra time in the semi-final and final, scoring in the 95th minute to come back from 3-1 down before beating Hull City 4-3 to reach the final. Do you understand what the club is about? Rom's been here for a while. Adamo is obviously fairly new to the club, Prout said. But they can see that there's something that's embraced by the club. It's embraced by the fans. It's embraced by the area and the community. It's important that young players recognise that. Of course, there are so many facets to the game of football. It's not just about determination and grit, but it's a good starting point, and it's what we look for in youngsters. It's certainly something that if you look for in players, or to step up to the next level, because the Championship is a very physical league. It's nice to hear those players recognising that's part of a professional young player's journey. It's what a young player needs in the toolbox to make that step up. Romain in particular has experienced it himself. I don't know a little bit, but he'll have seen how quick and difficult it is. I think that's a good thing. Indeed, it is a different ball game, literally. Now moving on, talking about the under-21s, there is a job going. Millwall seeking under-21 performance analyst. The performance analyst will be responsible for the preparation and delivery of the under-21s analysis from pre-match through to post-match duties, adopting both video and statistical methods of analysis. You apply by sending the application form and a CV and covering letter to recruit. Okay. Closing date for applications is the 9th of June. So let's have a look and see what is this. So it's based at Mill's training ground at Calmont Road. They started building the new training ground yet? Maybe I should find out about that. They've broken ground. Is there a ceremony? I don't know, but we will see. I think they got the go ahead, so I think they just got to work on plans and how they're going to transfer shit around in times and stuff. So what you got to do if you get this job, to ensure that all under-21 matches, league, cup, friendlies are filmed, coded, and analysed. Training sessions are to be filmed and shared with relevant staff and players upon request. Opposition analysis to provide a technical and tactical breakdown with coded video on opponents as well as opposition squad breakdowns. To assist with the design and implementation of various presentations throughout the season. So that's like slideshows and shit like that, yeah. Support the logistics and management of individual player reviews. Ensure adherence to all EPPP requirements. Documenting as required for audit purposes. No idea what that means. To source and analyse match footage of under-21 loan players and monitor development. So there you go. You'll call up St Johnson and say, hey, can I have the video of Alex Mitchell sitting on the bench? So this is what you need. Previous experience. See, in order to get the job, you need experience. But in order to get the experience, you need to get the job. Specific performance analysis qualifications or relevant BA or BSc, Bronze Swimming Certificate. Knowledge of coding software. Various video techniques to record training and games. Competent use of Apple Mac based software, Keynote and iMovie. High organisation skills to be able to prioritise workload effectively under pressure. Ability to take initiative as well as work as part of the team. Be trustworthy and adhere to club's code of conduct and ethics. And excellent interpersonal and communication skills, liaising with coaches, players and peers. So there you go. 35 hours a week. No salary is listed, but as we know with Millwall, their salaries are a bit on the stingy side. But there you go. If that's up your street, there you go. That's it. And this is an entry level job. It seems under 21. So do that right. You might find yourself working up to the first team or even like some Premier League or something like that. So moving on to this. Finally, this is, we're going to talk about this last. So the Lions official online store has slowly been brought back into action The club haven't announced anything, I don't believe, about it yet. I think they're just trying to do it slowly, and there's not a lot of stuff on there anyway. This is like t-shirts and stuff for men's sizes. They've got 31 items so far. This is just on this. They've got like hoodies and stuff. They got tracky bottoms and things. It's all individual stuff. Obviously, they're waiting for the area stuff to come in with the kits and training wear and all that. But these are the designs they've got so far. 25 quid for a bog standard t-shirt. I don't know. As long as the logo doesn't peel off after a couple of times of washing it, I think people won't mind paying a fair price for it, as long as it's quality and it lasts. But these are the designs they've got up so far. So there you go, Roaring Lion back in action there. Yeah, this is what we've got. Yellow and black, black and yellow. But like I said, it's early days. The club haven't put anything out, so maybe they're waiting. I don't know about. So obviously, what is it? The profile, Millwall profile. They made everyone bothering everyone, hassling everyone about signing up to a Millwall profile. Get your Millwall profile, and it links you with the club shop and the ticket office, and it's all built up into one. And made everyone re-sign on that because it's a new system that they're using. So I assume that this is still the same. I haven't tried logging in, so I don't know. I just saw it. Someone mentioned it on one of the forums and brought it up. Had a look, and Millwall haven't mentioned it yet. So, but it's up. It's up. This is the link that came through from the official club website. So, yeah. So far, only going up to 3XL. So any of you super fat bastards, you are shit out of luck. Only up to 3XL, I'm afraid. What can you do? What can you do? Extra small. Extra small. For whom? For whom is extra small? I've not seen many of them around. Adult extra small. Yeah. But there you go. So, like I said, there's not much on there. Go on there and have a look around. They don't really have much. They've got bed sheet and stuff like that. It's just men, women, and kids stuff. You can see here, look, hoodies and sweatshirts. So they don't have any like stuff. They got 2 jackets on, which what you need in the summer, isn't it? They don't have any like what do you call it? Items like physical items like scarves or hats or rulers or plushy toys of Zampa, or physical stuff like rulers and pencil cases and shit like that. All they have is clothes and stuff. So I'm sure that obviously it's early days. It's June. It's just come back on from Fanatics. So we'll see it grow and grow over the coming weeks. But so far, just some t-shirts and stuff. So there you go. I don't know what it's like at the store. They closed the online store and then they closed the store. So this has been just reopened and they haven't announced it's reopened. I don't know what's happening at the store itself. I mean, that's still closed. But the online store is open. But there you go. That's it. And on that note, thank you for watching. Goodbye.